Hi, Johnny. Let's take a look at your second set of essays. This one is about replacing traditional foods with fast food and the negative effect on families, individuals, and society. Let's see what you said here. Experts throughout both the developing and developed world have debated that consuming fast food, not debated that, have debated whether consuming fast food has a negative impact on families, individuals, and society or not. Some believe the negativity of fast food on people is huge. Personally, I strongly agree. This essay will argue that why the negative impact to humans is that obvious, using examples from the UK government and Oxford University to demonstrate points and prove arguments. Okay, so let's talk about this a little bit. So we fixed this, have debated whether, okay? And then here, you need a little more than just a comma. Now, since you're agreeing, really, you just need an and, okay? So that's okay. If you were disagreeing, then you would have needed a but, however, or although. I mean, one of those would be okay. But just having a comma here, in my opinion, is not enough. You need to go one step further. Okay, then, I didn't understand this. This essay will argue that why the negative impact is obvious. So that doesn't make sense. Grammar is off here. So this essay will argue that the negative impact to humans is obvious without that E. Okay? And then the rest of it is fine. All right, so moving on. On the one hand, there is ample evidence that has shown fast food has a massive impact on individuals, families, and society. The central reason behind this is threefold. Firstly, fast food brings, because one, it's uncountable, all sorts of health issues to a person, such as diabetes and high blood cholesterol. Secondly, seeing family members diagnosed with those health issues by overeating fast food makes the whole family drown into a deep anxiety. Lastly, to the society, the cost of healthcare could create an economic crisis. In addition, the fast food industry, in addition, the fast food industry overrunning a city would lead many restaurants to close down. For example, recent empirical research by the UK government demonstrated, with an O here, that 90% of all diabetes records are from the overconsumption of fast food. Therefore, it is conclusively clear that fast food replacing regular food has a negative impact. Okay, so I want to talk a little bit about coherence and cohesion and task achievement. You had three main ideas here to support your overall central idea. You only developed one of them. You developed the one about diabetes and high cholesterol. Okay, so that's not enough. If you're going to present an idea, you have to develop it. You have to support it. Okay, it's not enough to just give me three ideas, but just support one of them. Each one of them has to be supported. So that's the first thing. The second thing is if that seems too much to you, too long to you, that's fine. Then what you need to do is you need to pick one idea to develop really well, or potentially two ideas to develop to some degree, and that's fine as well. Now, the other problem that I see here is your coherence and cohesion, the way you organized your paragraph. You had here this support, but the idea it actually supported was way up here. So it's like a very random place to put this. This should have come directly after the idea that it supported. So I really kind of disagree with this organization. Okay, grammar was a little better than what I've seen in some of your previous writing, so that's positive. Okay, but let's move on to your next paragraph and see what you did there. On the other hand, although there is a case for pizza, kebab, and even burgers enriching average family meals by the delicious taste, okay. For example, an extensive study by Oxford University showed that over 90% middle class family have fast food as at least one meal per day in all the Western country. Consistent with this line of thinking is that how much money could this favorite type of food contribute to a country? Thus, it is possible to state beyond doubt that for the sake of economy, government might step aside to the negative impact. Okay. Now, unfortunately, this paragraph is a lot weaker, and there are multiple reasons why. The first reason is grammar. I mean, the whole paragraph was full of grammar mistakes. There were also vocabulary mistakes, okay? So we'll correct them, we'll look at them in a minute. But there are other mistakes related to task achievement and coherence and cohesion, which also are going to make this paragraph problematic. First of all, let's talk about task achievement. The essay asks, to what extent do you agree or disagree with this idea that they presented here? You told us that the negative impact is obvious. So we assume that you think, yes, it's a negative impact on families, individuals, and society. If that's the case, then why do you have this paragraph here? You have not been asked to talk about both sides of the argument. They said, to what extent do you agree or disagree? And you told us in your introduction that the other, the opposite side, the negative impact that is obvious. And so this paragraph really just comes out of nowhere. We don't understand why you've included it, and you never kind of let us know that you were going to talk about the other side. Now, in an essay of a to what extent do you agree or disagree, you can argue both sides, but you have to be very careful with how you do this. So rather than saying, I strongly agree, and this essay will argue that the negative impact of humans is obvious, you need to show that you're going to discuss both sides. You can do it like this. Some believe that the negativity of fast food is huge. And while personally I agree, there are some benefits of it as well. This essay will argue that the negative impacts to human is obvious despite advantages using examples, etc., etc. So what I've done is I've altered this a little bit so that it leaves room for a paragraph like this, where you then talk about the other side of the argument. And then this makes sense. This is coherent. This is cohesive. We understand when your essay is like a whole, we understand what's going on here and why you've included what you've included. Without doing this, this paragraph makes absolutely no sense here. Okay? All right. So, we talked a little bit about task achievement, coherence, and cohesion. Now I want to correct it a little bit. So, grammar, first sentence. This is wrong. When you have although, you need to have two parts of a sentence. Okay? So, on the other hand, there is a case for a pizza, kebab, and even burgers enriching average family meals with their delicious taste. So, you didn't need this although. Although needs two clauses. Then, over 90% of middle class families, okay, in all Western countries, okay, consistent with this line of thinking is how it is that this type of food contributes a great amount of money to a country. Grammatically, this is correct. Thus, it is possible to state beyond doubt that for the sake of the economy, the government might look away or maybe might ignore the negative impact. Maybe. However, the essay never asks you to talk about the economy. That's unless you attach it some way to the individuals or society or families. You could have said, so in other words, the economy, therefore society will benefit. So again, link it back to what they've asked you to talk about in this question. Otherwise, this whole thing about the economy is also irrelevant. All right, so you can see you have to do a lot of work to make sure that everything ties in together. From the arguments and examples given, I firmly believe that the preference of fast food as main meals will bring more and more negative impacts to the world. It is predicted that those bad effects will increasingly grow in importance. All right, that's fine. So I think we spent a lot of time in this essay. You should have a lot of information on how to correct it and how to avoid these kinds of errors in the future. Let's now read the letter to your friend. Dear Amanda, I'm writing to say sorry to you. Hold on. I'm writing to say sorry that I couldn't come to see you when I was in Perth. That's better. As we arranged, I should have come to your house on the third day of my trip in Perth. However, However, on the night before that day, I went to a bar with my mate Amy. We had some salt and pepper, that should be 2 peas, calamari with some sort of, 2 words, of green curry rice as dinner. My stomach, we don't say this, my stomach went crazily hurt. We would say, my stomach start to hurt very badly after we got back to the hotel, so that I had to go to hospital. The doctor said it is a kind of food poisoning, 1N, and he asked ED me to stay at hospital for the rest of the night in order to track how I go. The next day, which was the day we were supposed, with a D, to meet, I couldn't get on my feet because of the diarrhea. This is spelled wrong. It's okay, so you need that apostrophe S. It's a shame I couldn't see you while I was in the city. If this cheers you up a bit, next time when you come to Melbourne, all the accommodations are on me. Let me know what you think. Catch you later, Johnny. Okay, usually there's a capital here and a comma, and then your name. All right, so that's fine, I guess. I mean, you covered everything. I want you to be careful. I mean, I know that from what I saw in your previous emails, you're living in Australia, so you do have a hang of sort of colloquial language, but I want you to be careful with this. Remember, this is an English exam. Yes, informal, but no, not really colloquial slang. So none of this gotta, oughta, none of that kind of language. I want you to be correct grammatically. Where was it? Kinda, none of that. It should be kind of. Yes to informal, but not so casual like spoken English, okay? All right, so Johnny, go ahead, correct these. Let's see more work from you, and I'm looking forward to it, okay? Good luck.